Hello everyone, how's it going? So it's been quite a few days since my last video, but here we are again with a new one, and this time actually with some CN news I saw recently, because there is a new character being released, and this character is looking like a really good addition for the fire teams. As you guys probably already know, the fire team doesn't really have that many good units for it. We basically have Sharkry, we have Xenia is an amazing unit, and we also of course have Chongju. Chongju, however, is more of a physical character. However, she does have some fire damage, but that's not really her main source of damage, because as you guys know, she basically just deals, or most of her damage is on her like assist attacks or whatever they're called. But in any case, we now have this new character for the fire teams called Qiuhua. I think that's how you pronounce her name. I'm pretty sure it is. But in any case, Qiuhua over here is a Vanguard class unit, so she will probably have a good amount of mobility. And of course, I would like to thank Seiya over here for providing some translations for her skill set and for some other stuff that's going to come out in the same time frame as Qiuhua over here. But in any case, Qiuhua is a Vanguard, just like I mentioned. She has a good amount of mobility and a good amount of damage. So as usual, basic attack is just some basic damage. Reverse skill is very simple, just single target, and the damage increases if you are closer to the enemy. And her second skill actually makes her leap forward or something. I'm guessing you can actually choose a direction, but it makes her jump, and afterwards you can shoot one of the enemies. So with this, you can actually close your distance between the enemies, and that way you can also use your first skill to deal even more damage, because with the second skill you actually get a second command or an extra command. So the main combo will be using the second skill and afterwards using the first skill to deal even more damage. The second skill also will be reducing the cooldown for the ult, and the ult, what it does, it deals a good amount of AoE damage, and the AoE, judging from the animation from the trailer for her, it's actually pretty big. And this AoE applies the Scorch mark on the enemy's hit, and the Scorch mark is basically some DOT damage that gets stronger with the amount of Scorch marks on the enemies. And you can actually also get more marks on the enemies if you actually deal more burn damage. So it does actually encourage you to actually use some other fire type characters, of course. And of course, we can't forget about her passive. Her passive actually gives her some support attacks if the enemies get applied with overburn. And she actually has this one key over here, this one over here, where she actually applies overburn on enemies before she actually attacks. So just with this, she has really good synergy with Sharkry, because of course, as you guys know, Sharkry also gives or does an extra attack if an enemy gets applied with overburn. That's why she's mostly used with, what's her name? KROLIK, of course, because she does keep applying overburn to enemies around herself, of course. So this, of course, will be a very important key if you actually want to use her with Sharkry. And of course, if you also use Chongju on the same team, this will also trigger Chongju's support attack. It will be a lot of support attacks and a lot of damage like outside of your own turn, which it will be kind of ridiculous. A very strong combination for the fire team. But yeah, that's basically it for the skill set for, what's her name again? Qiuhua. Overall, a very strong character and will definitely be a really good addition for the fire teams. Outside of that, we also have some other news for the event that's going to come out in China, of course, in the CN version, with that we will eventually also have. There will be a free skin for Kolfen. It looks beautiful, very cute. We can see some animations over here. She looks adorable. I do like Kolfen quite a bit. Unfortunately, she isn't really that amazing of a character. She's a very strong killer, of course, but she is getting her new skin. I think this is her only skin so far, but yeah, it looks amazing, and I can't wait to actually see it in the global version, of course. And of course, speaking of skins, we also have this new skin for Macchiato. She already has an incredibly good skin, but goddamn, this one, it really shows off her legs. Goddamn, she has legs for days, boys. She has legs for days. And this skin is that one skin that has this animation. Of course, I'll show it on screen in case you guys do not know what I'm talking about. But this skin does unlock a very nice animation that I can't wait to get my hands on, that's for sure. Of course, we also have another animation that they do show over here, and of course we can see the special effects for her own attacks during or with this skin. They are pretty subtle, but they do actually look quite nice. However, I do actually prefer the default special effects with the other skins. I do think they are better, but of course that's very subjective. Let me know what you guys actually think about this skin and what you guys actually prefer. I personally actually prefer the other skin, but this skin also is very, very nice. And of course, lastly, I would like to mention how KROLIK actually got a buff. I don't think this will actually help her that much, but it's actually a pretty nice buff. So basically, she gets, I think, a new key or a change to one of her keys, where she gets more critical damage according to how long or how far she actually moves. It's 5% for each tile to a maximum of 15%. Again, this isn't really that big of a buff. It won't really change her that much. I doubt people will, start using KROLIK just because of this, but it is, of course, still a really, really nice buff to have. And there are also some other buffs for this character called Dush. We don't really have her right now, so I'm not really that familiar with her yet, but it is, of course, still quite nice that they are actually buffing some other characters. And yeah, that's really been it from me for this video. Quite a few really good stuff in the CN version that we will eventually get, of course. I can't wait for them to actually add this into the game, especially that skin for Macchiato. I'm not gonna lie, goddamn. But in any case, that's everything. I hope you guys enjoyed the video. I hope it was helpful. As always, thank you so much for the memberships. And of course, I'll see you all in the next video.